When I do videos like this, they get very few views, likes, and shares. And I think one of the reasons for that is because people are perfectly content in their own comfortable slavery. It's making them money, it's giving them time with their families. They don't really have to like stretch their minds to strive for something greater. And when you talk about government, as much as I talk about government and the evils of government, the inherent evils of government, people start rolling their eyes. Oh God, he's talking about government again. But think about this. The concept of government touches every single one of us in every single one of our lives, every single moment of every single day. Government is something you can't escape from in this world. And there's a quote by Samuel Adams. It's probably one of my favorite quotes of all times because it really hits the nail on the head. He said, "If you love wealth greater than liberty, the tranquility of servitude rather than the animating contest for freedom, go from us in peace. We ask not your counsel or your arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you, and may posterity forget that you were our countrymen." The animating contest for freedom. If you want freedom, you've got to work for it, because there's always somebody, some psychopath, some narcissist who's trying to take your freedom away for his gain and for the gain of his buddies. And that's what happens when you have government. Ask yourselves a question. If the reason you want government is so that we can be safe and secure and have more freedoms than we would under an anarchist society, because you don't trust people with freedom, then if you can't trust people with freedom, why the hell would you ever trust them with a monopoly on force, which is government? It makes no sense. And then if you look at history, over 250 million people have died in the last century alone, in just the last 100 years, at the hands of government agents. Because people believe that they have a higher claim over your life and property than you. It led to the deaths of over 250 million people. That's 250 million people. And that's just on record. That's just a conservative estimate. It's way more than that. But let's just stick with 250 million dead people at the hands of government. It doesn't matter what kind of government it was. That includes the United States government. That includes the Korean War, the Vietnam War, World War I, World War II. It includes Hitler's shenanigans. It includes Pol Pot. It includes Mussolini, Stalin. Name your dictator. Pick your dictator. Mao. It doesn't matter. When you give people unbridled control on force and violence, and you say this is gonna organize society and this is gonna keep us safer, you have just pulled the trigger and released the bullet from the chamber of your own demise. That's exactly what happened. If you love wealth greater than liberty, the tranquility of servitude rather than the animating contest for freedom, go from us in peace. We seek not your counsel or your arms. Crouch down and lick the hands that feed you, you slave, and may posterity forget that you were our countrymen. Why is he so adamant about that? Because slavery is what government is. Government is slavery. If you're calling for government, if you believe that it's a necessary evil, you're saying slavery is a necessary evil. I have to be a slave for the greater good. I have to have government. I have to have kings or czars or presidents or congressmen or senators tell me what to do so that we can guarantee safety. I have to have my rights relinquished so that I can be more safe and my family can be more secure. If you give away, like Benjamin Franklin said, if you give away essential liberty to obtain a little temporary security, you deserve neither liberty nor security. If you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section below. The reason these videos aren't popular is because Striving for freedom takes work. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes a thought process. It takes getting into a mentality where we divorce ourselves from this idea where people think it's okay to initiate unjust force and violence on peaceful people who haven't done anything wrong. That's exactly what government is. It cannot survive without force and violence. That's why I quote it's commonly attributed to George Washington. He said, government is not eloquence. It's not reason. It is force. And like fire, it's a dangerous servant and a fearful master. It's against you. It's against humanity. It's against individuality. Government is against you. It's not for you. It never has been. It never will be. And it's a fiction. If the state is that great fiction, Bastiat said, by which everyone seeks to live at the expense of everyone else. It's a fiction. It's not even real. You might as well be saying, well, we need Santa Claus to keep us safe. What would Christmas be without Santa Claus? Why are you even talking about Santa Claus? He doesn't even exist. Nobody has a higher claim over your life and property than you. If you think they do, then just make yourself a slave. Don't call for the slavery of others, because that's what you do when you're going to the voting booth. I want my ruler to initiate unjust force and violence over you, even if you didn't vote for my ruler. I want my ruler to rule over you. What does that make you? Would you vote for your neighbor to extract a third of my wealth? Take a third of what I work for? No, and you wouldn't do it yourself. Why? Because you know it's immoral, but somehow it's okay if a government agent does it? Through the magical legislative process. Well, that makes it all right, doesn't it? It's a fiction. It is a fiction. And they say it because they say we need government because it's necessary. Well, necessity is the plea for every infringement of human freedoms. Every infringement. Name one congressman, senator, or president who doesn't say, we've got to do this to keep you safe. We're from the government. We're here to help. Necessity is the plea for every infringement of human freedoms. It's the argument of tyrants. It is the creed of slaves. The tyrants say this is necessary so that it can make you a slave. The slave says it's necessary. We need you to rule over us to keep us safe. It's lunacy. It's madness. So that's why these videos aren't very popular. That's why they won't get 100,000 views. They won't even get 20,000 views, because people are settled in their tranquility of servitude. They want to be slaves. And the only way to break free is to break free in your mind. You know, your greatest enemy in this world is not some psychopathic, narcissistic puppet politician like Hillary Clinton or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Bill Clinton or Nazi Pelosi or Dianne Frankenstein or Bernie Sanders or Donald Trump. Your greatest enemy is the people all around you who are consenting to their own slavery and to your slavery by giving these narcissists power. That's your greatest enemy. Your greatest enemy are the ones who believe that it's okay for some people to initiate unjust force and violence on peaceful people who haven't done anything wrong. Your greatest enemy are the people who think that some politician has a higher claim over your life and property than you. That's your greatest enemy. And a lot of people say, well, what good is it? What good are you making society? You make society better by holding the standard of virtue and morality up. If you ask for government, you have no virtue and morality. There is no virtue and morality in government. Ask anybody what they think about politicians. Do you trust politicians? Most people will say no. Why? Because politicians are known to be liars, crooks. The most narcissistic, psychopathic people on this planet are in the high seats of government. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and year after year we vote somebody new in, hoping things are going to get better, but they don't. Without government, how could we ever build the roads? Well, let me ask you this. Without government, how could we be $22 trillion in transgenerational debt slavery? And it's really 150 and 120 trillion if you count the unfunded liabilities of Social Security and Medicare. How could we ever get into that mountain of transgenerational debt slavery without government? The answer is we couldn't. How could we go through year after year after year of expensive warfare? How can the military industrial complex grow to the size that it's gotten without government? It can't. How can we have incarceration nation? People are sitting, rotting in prison cells who have not harmed or threatened to harm anybody. They just possessed a plant that some politician said you couldn't have. Thanks, Harry Anslinger. My plea in this video is just think about what government is. Government is slavery. Slavery is government. When you say you want some form of government, you're saying you want some form of slavery. Government is immoral. What you're saying is we need some form of immorality. We need government. What you're saying is we need some form of corruption. We need some form of government. What you're saying is we need some form of theft and robbery and extortion and murder. That's what war is. War is a euphemism for mass murder. Taxation is a euphemism for extortion. We get caught up in all these euphemistic ideas that we lose sight of what's really going on. Government is slavery. Government is a euphemism for slavery. Individual slavery and collective slavery. If you guys enjoy these videos and you want to support this channel, the Patreon, PayPal, and Bitcoin links are below. If you want to grab one of these hard-hitting shirts, this is McDeath's Eat Fast, Die Young. I have the links in the description. If you have a disagreement with what I said, if you have a logical, rational argument against what I said, I want to hear it. I'm not irrational. I want to come in accordance with truth. I want to come in accordance with knowledge, virtue, morality, and wisdom. Leave your thoughts about this for the world, the Google Thought Police, and everybody who thinks we need some form of slavery in our lives in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored Shadow Man video. If you guys enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know. Also, check out over 100 hard-hitting designs in the shirt store, and if you want to support more content, hit me up on Patreon or PayPal. All those links will be in the description and in the pinned comment. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored Shadow Ban video.